Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Astera Labs. It is time for another update, and on this chart we have been tracking this idea of a 1-2 setup where now we would be looking for a third wave that would develop here to the upside. And within this wave 3 we are expecting to reach the ideal target at the 138.2% extension. In this case it is around the $329 level. Now I may be able to consider this the beginning of the wave 1. It could be a truncation in a fifth wave to the downside. Doesn't matter exactly. Then yeah, I suppose the target for the third wave would shift slightly lower, but it is still very much around that area. And anyway, within this wave 3 we are tracking here a 1-2 setup. Even this wave 1 to the upside, it could be a singular wave 1 in a leading diagonal, but it could also be considered really a series of 1-2 setups that had occurred in this area. And in either case, we don't really care about that structure at the moment, because internally we have a third wave that has formed within this larger wave 3, and we are looking for the correction here in the wave 4, for which I have provided you here an area of support with pretty good probabilities for a reversal to the upside, and yeah, pretty good risk-reward ratio as well, especially considering that we headed all the way down to the 50% retracement. We actually even got a couple of weeks below it on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, I checked that earlier. And in the previous video, or actually in the previous videos, I did provide you this area of support. Now I have adjusted it ever so slightly. When we were reaching towards the end of it, I used the magnetic tool, so now it is lower by like 80 cents, but nothing really would be different. I just drew it by hand previously, where you cannot take these levels completely literally. Yeah, we can wick below them, we can even push a lot more than this below them and still have the setups work out. But yeah, it is a general area that we were looking to find a bottom in, either a 3-wave correction, yeah, a possible development, could still end up being a triangle to the sideways. Yeah, a wave 4 can be a triangle. That is still a possibility that yeah, this could form. And then in either case, though, we are still looking to reach a new all-time high level within this wave 5. And at this point, I do have the possibility of also removing this area of resistance, but I also have the possibility of considering a full count possible within this correction right now, because even within this actual ABC movement, I could count 5 waves within the wave C, but I could also consider it a different type of a correction, maybe a WXY correction. All possible, not really a problem. But we will of course watch out for possible extensions lower, because there is no confirmation, at least at this point, that we have bottomed. We did hold the support zone, we did reach the actual bottom of the support zone, and we do have a 3-wave correction, so we have fulfilled all of the expectations, but there is really no confirmation at this point that this cannot extend into something like a 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th, even lower prices. But yeah, it is in an area that was likely to create at least some sort of a relief rally, especially after such a development. I also wanted to make a video yesterday pointing out that we were having heavy divergences in this area, heavy and constant divergences that would actually suggest that we were approaching at least a local low, and the relief rally at least was expected. Now I didn't get to do that, unfortunately, but regardless, we did hold the support, which you did have available. I did provide that to you in both of the previous videos. And now what I want to watch out for is a possible extension of this pattern that could still be developing to the downside. And in such a case, I would be watching out for resistance for a wave 4 here in the area between the $164 level all the way up to the $185 level. Now if we manage to break above the 50% retracement in this case, it would be a pretty good sign. It would be an indication that this pattern to the downside is most likely failing to extend further, especially within an impulse. We may be able to consider some diagonal structures possible, but I find them unlikely, to be honest. So we will focus on the 50% retracement as a level that we are seeking to break. And additionally, what else are we really looking for? Well, we are looking to build an initial larger 5-wave structure to the upside that would allow us to have an initial wave 1 within the larger 5th wave to the upside. Now keep in mind, the wave 5 can develop as an ending diagonal, in which case it might develop indeed a wave 1 to the upside, but it could end up being an ABC pattern. Yeah, and in that case, it might be a lot more difficult to find entries and trades possible in this uptrend, but we are still, even at this point, in a general area of support, at least from a slightly larger time frame perspective, from where, yeah, we are expecting, again, remember, we are expecting to reach the ideal larger target of the third wave to the upside, which is between the $320 level all the way up to the $330 level, and even those, yeah, they still could see extensions very easily. Now, I did remove previously the area of general resistance for this ABC pattern, but I would consider that we may also want to keep an eye out for a possible resistance that we would be watching out for in the case of a triangle developing to the sideways. I will give you a quick glimpse for that, but we won't really keep that on the chart. And generally, when we are developing triangles, each of the subwaves tend to lean towards the 61.8% retracement of the previous wave that has formed. So if I have an A wave here, we would be looking in the wave B to reach around 61.8% retracement, and then, yeah, so on for the wave C, we would be looking at the 61.8% retracement of the wave B, but those are ideal targets. The main aspect of it is that they do not break above the beginning of a previous wave. So if I'm looking here at an A wave down, a B wave up, yeah, it might be fine for it to break above the beginning of the wave A, but then the wave C cannot break below the beginning of the wave B, because yeah, that wave B would actually be the bottom of the wave A, and in that case we would have to consider a complete new bottom in this area. But now this would be the case in the idea of a contracting triangle, but those are just some details. Just wanted to point out some things, some interesting aspects you might want to consider if you are interested in learning more about the Elliott wave theory. But for now, really, we are focusing here on this area of resistance, and we are looking to see if we can break it and have a bottom formed here in the wave 4. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.